I wanted to add my voice to this Audra Winter discussion. I was curious about this story, and I watched a lot of TikTok. I watched a lot of videos on YouTube as well. I did download a copy of her book, and I read the first 5 chapters. I honestly couldn't really read beyond that because just what everyone else is saying, and I'm not here to bash her work, but the craft is just not there. And speaking of craft, I have an entire playlist on my YouTube channel about this book, Story by Robert McKee. It's about screenwriting, but you can apply it to novel writing. And I wish he would come out with a novel writing edition. As you can see, I've got a lot of tabs here. I've read this book over and over. I've highlighted, I've annotated. I've gone to Robert McKee's seminar in New York. And I'm part of the cult, if you want to call it that. And the reason is this is the best work I've ever read on developing writing craft. This really gets into the nuts and bolts, and it's not an easy read. And this is why in my playlist, I break it down chapter by chapter. I think it took me like a couple of years to complete that playlist, honestly. This is what it takes. This is my point. It's hard work. The problem with her book, just from what I read in the first 5 chapters, is there was no hook. There was no, why do we care? What's at stake? Yes, she had some mistakes. We all make those mistakes. Those can be fixed with a good copy editor. But it's the scaffolding of the story that is the most important. Actually learning the craft it's hard work. I'll tell you, the story around this publishing, what I'm calling a glorious failure, is much more interesting than the story she wrote. So there's a lesson there. But my point is, it's hard work. But if you know how to do it, the scaffolding of a story as that roadmap of where you're going, doesn't mean you have to plan everything out ahead of time, but just it's there. Your story can really breathe and inspire, but you got to learn how to do it. And very few people are going to know how to do this like right out of the gate. It's a skill like anything else, and it takes practice. Buy yourself a copy and start reading and start annotating and start learning the craft of writing, because you can have all the sprayed edges and all the bells and whistles that you want, but the reader still wants that great story. And that's what's exciting about being an author.